The Smederevo municipality covers an area of 484 square kilometers and is bordered by the Danube on the north and Velika Morava River on the east, and the Šumarija Hills to the south and the west. It is part of the northmost part of the Pomoravlje region and the northeast part of the Šumarija Hills. The Smederevo municipality has an extremely favorable tourist geographic position within Serbia. It is on the international E75 highway corridor 10, which connects Budapest, Belgrade, Niš, Thessaloniki and Athens. Located on the international railway line connecting Budapest and Belgrade with Athens and Sofia. On the most attractive part of the Danube River bank in Serbia, with a shore that is suitable for constructing ports and marinas, with nearby industrial developed areas on the International Corridor 7. 45 kilometers from Belgrade, the administrative, economic and touristic center of Serbia. It is said a lot of things about Smederevo, one of the oldest cities near the Danube, but it was first mentioned in the 1019 by the Byzantine Emperor Vasil II. But the thing Smederevo is famous for is its fortress, which was a medieval fortified city and temporary capital of Serbia built by Despot George Brankovic. It is strategically located on the right bank of the Danube River on the triangular plain formed by the confluence of the Danube and Jezava rivers. The small town of Smederevo Fortress was built between 1428 and 1430 with 6 towers. It is said that it was the place where Despot's family, servants and guards had lived. The most representative part of the fortress and all Serbian medieval architecture was the throne hall. This throne hall, where Brankovic received his visitors, was built with 4 double-arched windows fashioned with mixed Gothic Romanesque style. Along with throne hall, very interesting architectural parts are Despot's inscription tower and donjon tower, which was constructed to be the final line of defense. The big town of Smederevo Fortress was finished in 1439 and it was spreading on the 10.5 acres. The fortress is encircled by 1.5 kilometers of walls over 2 meters thick, 25 towers which are each approximately 25 meters tall. Looking all this, Smederevo Fortress was considered for one of the biggest medieval fortresses of the plain type in Europe. As a part of this complex, we can also see the remains of the church, where the relics of Saint Luca were brought and stored. Despot George Brankovic had bought them in the one monastery in Greece for 20,000 golden coins, believing that the relics will protect the city from Turks. Although the relics of Saint Luca are captured in Padova, Italy today, he is still considered and celebrated as patron saint of Smederevo. Throughout its long and turbulent history, Smederevo Fortress has been built, destroyed, rebuilt, conquested and liberated. Fortress carries the traces of past times as mark on its walls and towers. Fortress is a witness of unpredictable history. The walls are symbol of workers' bravery, their ability and the symbol of unique artistic beauty. Today, the fortress presents cultural and historical good of great importance, popular touristic destination, and an exclusive place for art and cultural events. During the August, the walls of the medieval city become the theater scenery called Fortress Theater. As a part of this unique event, every year there is one premiere and a lot of other plays from region and the rest of Europe. Open-air festival, Fortress Theater, has all chances to become cultural manifestation which no one should miss, and it represents an important step towards coming back of Serbian theater and culture to its European roots. The great contribution to this comeback gives Patostrofiranje, the international multimedial festival which has been gathering young alternative creators since 2004. Furthermore, the most important event in this medieval city is Smederevo Fall, touristic and economic event, which is held every September as a certain glorification of grape and wine of Smederevo's vineyards. This event contains the parade of medieval knights and rich cultural program in the fortress and the city squares. The first exhibition was held in 1888 in the city port. It lasted for a few days and the whole city participated in, through music and celebration. This celebration was stopped only during the wars. The aim of this exhibition was to show the best products of Smederevo's farmers, as well as rich historical heritage. In the last few years, Smederevo Fall became the most important touristic and economic event in Podunavsky region. The main characteristic of this fair are best seen in a huge number of exhibitors and visitors, whose number is over 100,000 every day. Beside this medieval city, which is the main thing every guest should see, Smederevo offers plenty other interesting things. One of the oldest is Temple of Holy Mother of God from 15th century, built in Morava school style, which means one cupola churches. Special value of this church gives the composition on the west wall below the entrance, which was made almost 2 centuries after the church was built. Close to the church is tomb of Dimitrije Davidovic, also known as father of Serbian journalists, writer of the first Serbian constitution. The constitution house in which he had lived is situated near Karađorđe's mulberry tree, the monument of the first Serbian insurrection. Under this tree, Karađorđe has received the keys of the city after liberation from Turks. In a memory to this date, Smederevo celebrates the 21st of November as the City Day, and the mulberry tree, which is estimated to be over 300 years old, is under the protection of state as the botanic monument of nature. The St. George Church, work of Andrea Damiano, was built in the 19th century. This is 5 cupola church whose model was Manassia Monastery. The building of this church represents the beginning of urbanization of town's central area, and the building which dominates this part is Municipality Court. Also an important part of the city is the Gallery of Modern Art, the building of former Municipality Hall with 4 sculptures on the balustrade which personificate justice, work, science and culture. There is also the building of Smederevo's Gymnasium, which is one of the most beautiful buildings from the beginning of 20th century. One of the places visitors should see is National Museum. In 3 halls you can see the rich coin collection and numerous testimonies about glory and destruction of medieval Serbian country. There are also the items connected with Turks, First Serbian insurrection, Obrenović dynasty and the Second World War. Material traces of tumultuous and rich history of this region are from prehistoric through antique and up to mid of the last century. Among numerous exhibits, there are also dishes from Villa of Obrenović dynasty. This villa was built on land which Knez Miloš bought in 1829. It was the place where the members of this dynasty spent their time, from Knez Miloš to the King Alexander, who was holding the meeting of Serbian government. Therefore, Smederevo was considered unofficially the capital of Serbia. The family estate of Obrenović with villa, local woods and vineyards is spreading on 36 acres, and it is place where the best wines are made today, the wines worthy of royalty. The tradition of viticulture and wine producing have roots in past. The first wine was planted in the 3rd century, and great importance in planting new wines and spreading viticulture had Despot Stefan Lazarević and George Brankovic. On these foundations are still the best plants, and the tradition of viticulture and wine production is very well kept, and it is carried from generation to generation. So, it is not surprising that Smederevo's vineyards area is a place which you cannot miss when you travel through Serbia. Only 5 kilometers from town center, on the right bank on the Danube River, is Jugovo, favorite excursion spot with pool, trim path, tennis courts. This place offers plenty of possibilities for sports and recreation and playing ground for children. There are thermal waters at Jugovo, whose temperature of 66 degrees and high mineral and salted content, giving it the flavor of seawater. These thermal waters contribute to potential for developing spa tourism in Smederevo. There are many fishing spots very close to Smederevo where sport fishing takes place. Waters offer a lot of joy and pleasure to sport fishermen, as well as recreation in nature that is beautiful and attractive around Smederevo. Smederevo is also the city of sport, the house of former and future European and Olympic champions with a rich tradition in all kinds of sports. A great number of Smederevo sport clubs are in the highest ranks of competition. During the July of 2009, city was one of the host cities of Universiade, and it received students from all over the world. They were convinced in hospitality of inhabitants who were expecting guests with the greatest intentions. The quality hotels and private accommodation, rich gastronomic offer, washed down with Smederevo wine, nightlife which is transferred from city streets to the banks of the Danube, are just some of the reasons why you should visit this city. Smederevo is a place for relaxation, recreation and pleasure, city which will inspire you with the tradition, and when you meet the past, you will learn how to celebrate present and future.